when he suddenly glanced again as though accidentally at Razumichin and could no longer control himself. His stifled laughter broke out the more irresistibly the more he tried to restrain it.
Well, after that little traffic jam, I've finally arrived at the park so nice you have to enter it twice.
Hi, I'm Jay, and I'm here at Galveston Island State Park. I want to do a painting of this palm tree here, but I don't have a lot of time. The sun is going to be going down, the light's going to be changing pretty dramatically, and so unlike what I've done in previous videos, I'm going to jump straight in. I'm going to paint oil on raw paper. Let's do it.
It's not my favorite thing to lurk in the shadows while I'm doing these landscape paintings, but I can't stand in the sun. It's just too darn hot. So I'm thankful for the shadow, and all shadows now are lengthening as I watch. But I'm just going to quickly block in what I'm seeing with pencil so I can feel a little bit more confident moving forward as I do some initial washes with the thinned out oil paint. You may have noticed in my pencil sketch that things were pretty loose. Nothing was clearly defined. I was just trying to map out the area that I was going to be using. But this is really more the pace of how I'm painting. Sure, the early washes are scrubbed in kind of quickly, but I'm doing a lot of looking back and forth, and you'll see my hand sort of gesture over the paper, trying to figure out how I'm going to make the mark, the direction that I'm going to use, the amount of paint that's in the brush. So there's a lot of calculation, and things move pretty slowly. That's why I like to speed it up for you so you don't have to watch the painting develop at a snail's pace. While most oil painters prefer a pre-primed, archival, wonderful surface, you can absolutely paint on just regular old paper. The thing to be aware, though, is that it's really thirsty. It gobbles up all that oil super quickly, so it feels kind of rough moving everything around, and that's why you see me doing some layering and moving back and forth. Now, in other ways, that's nice because you can paint a little bit more directly one color on top of the other, and the previous oil stroke has already kind of sunk in and is a little established, so you're not just smearing everything around. It's kind of a good way to approach things. If you've never tried it, I would recommend it. This whole trip I've been determined to paint a palm tree. Now the moment has finally come. It's really fun to paint these textures, and I like this edge where the light meets the shadow, and so you have portions of that really pokey bark that emerge from the shadows, and then there's sort of this overlap and crisscross, and I think it's really beautiful and fun to paint. It doesn't matter that the sun is pretty low on the horizon now. Even if I had all the time in the world, it would be impossible to paint all these palm fronds. There's just too much going on. So what I settle for are interactions of light and shadow and suggestions of the texture or the character of that spiky top to this beautiful palm tree. It's kind of what I was going for in the bark as well. So it's time to hustle, finish everything up, and then head somewhere for a hike. So here's the finished painting. I liked leaving a portion of it open, and that portion is what I'm going to explore now. There's a marshy area across the highway with a fairly extensive trail system. So I'm going to take advantage of the last few rays of light and the solitude. I pretty much have the place to myself. As I was leaving, I saw the sun through this circular window, and it reminded me of all the places that this motif is present within the park. And I kind of thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool if I superimposed that circle and those angular lines over my painting? I kind of like it. I haven't actually done it yet, and maybe I will one day, but just like these trips, knowing how way leads on to way, maybe I'll just become occupied with the next thing. Right now, though, I'm going to enjoy the last of the ocean tide before I make my way to sleep, and then on to the next park tomorrow. Thanks for watching.